everybody. Sorry for being a little late. I'm here yelling at Jacob thinking his microphone is not working, and it was my headset. So we're just here.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, just a little bit. But welcome to Apocalypse Movies and the Marvel Rewind. We are here to recap the newest episode of Moon Knight, episode number 2, Summon the Suit, I believe is what it's called. And yeah, we're here to just gab. It's just me and Jacob today. But yeah, how you doing, Mr. Jacob Bartley?
I'm pretty good, man. Coming straight from work, just to do this podcast. So it's been a nonstop day.
Doing it by myself.
Yeah. But I'm looking forward to it. So last week I said, like, okay, the episode didn't blow me away, but I'm still intrigued. And so I was curious about this one. And I kind of felt the same way. So I actually watched it twice.
Same.
I watched it last night and I watched it this morning. So I'm curious to see where our conversation goes, honestly.
Yeah, I've been doing like a 6 a.m. I'll wake up early, watch it, go to work, come home, watch it, and then go straight into this.
Yeah.
Which is the first time I've ever done that with any of them.
Well, I think the show calls for it, to be honest, because
yes,
there's a lot going on. And if you miss one line of dialogue, it can kind of change your whole perception of what's going on.
it could.
So I think it's worth it to rewatch these episodes.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And there is, like you said, a lot going on. So
yeah.
It's definitely worth it. But yeah, okay. So if you had to pick, though, better than the first one better.
Yeah,
Or on par.
They're kind of on par with each other. But I will say, like, I may have seemed underwhelmed last week, but I still liked it a lot. And I think it grew on me after thinking about it a little bit more. So I'm still like they're both very solid, you know?
Yeah.
But I do think once the show's done, I think we're going to love it.
Oh, I mean, I already love it, and I think
so for anybody like myself who's maybe like, okay, like they've been pretty good so far, haven't blown me away. I think people like me, I think by the time it's all said and done, 6 episodes in the can, and you can kind of view it as one long movie or something, I think we're going to love it, because this is like watching the first act of a movie and then being like, nah, this movie sucks. Like, you can't do that. So because this show, the way that they're telling the story, it kind of feels like a movie.
It is.
More than a TV show.
There's 6 episodes, so it does feel like it's just a super long movie.
And if you think about it, like, let's say something Falcon and the Winter Soldier, like an episode will end and a couple days will pass or something. Like this one, I feel like it just goes right into it. Like, he woke up the next day after terrorizing the museum, or what does he say? I love the way he talks, like, in his slang, because he says something like he says he did something to the bathroom. Like, I forget what he said.
I know what you're talking about. But yeah, no, it's funny because some Schmodown people that live like abroad, they were like, it's so funny hearing him talk like using British slang.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And I'm like, I guess I never really thought about it.
And apparently I heard that, I mean, this makes sense. Like, of course, this is the case. Like, there's different British accents, obviously. Like, just like there's different American accents. So, like, I guess his British accent is like the working class, like
he's a gift shop.
He's like us, but British version, right? So
how dare you? I am.
But the British accents that we're used to, like the ones that we hear in movies and stuff, are high class, like the Queen and King type British accents. So I guess his accent is accurate depending on who you ask, you know?
I thought about it that way.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But I do think that they are both kind of on par. Like, they've stayed the same, but at a higher like than just like, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, now we know more of the story. Because all right, so look, we can just jump around all over the place if we want. I asked you last week because you're the Moon Knight expert of our crew.
I'll take that.
I asked you, I mean, even though you're probably not a full expert on him.
Okay.
Because I heard there's a ton of different Moon Knight runs, like none of them are consistent with each other. Like a lot of them aren't.
In fact, I'm just started another one right now. So
yeah. So I asked you last week.
You might actually like, because he in this one, he thinks he's working with Wolverine, Spider-Man, and Captain America. It's just him being psycho.
Wow, that's funny. Okay. That's funny.
Go ahead.
No, I asked you like how do the personalities work? Is Mark the only one who could turn into Moon Knight, etc.? And I feel like this episode gave us a clearer picture of how that works. So my favorite moment in the episode is when he's falling and he lands and he's Mr. Knight. And he gets up and he's checking out the suit. And we actually have Steven as the superhero. It's not Mark in there.
Yep.
And it made sense. So Mark knows what's going on. Mark knows about Khonshu. He knows he's Khonshu's avatar. He's the one who's doing all this stuff, trying to find the scarab so they can get to Amit, whatever, right? Mark is doing all that. But we didn't see any of Mark's perspective in the first episode until the end. So Mark knows that when he transforms into Moon Knight, that he has to get like the ancient armor, the Moon Knight armor, right? So when Steven does it, he's like, put me in a suit. So I took that as that's the first time he ever turned into Mr. Knight.
I would agree.
Yeah. So, and I think that's pretty cool. So this is what Steven imagined his superhero suit would be like.
Yeah.
And that's kind of cool. So it's like, maybe we'll never see Steven turn into regular Moon Knight, and maybe we'll never see Mark turn into Mr. Knight, you know?
I mean, yeah, actually, you've made a good point that I never even thought of, because when he does change into the Mr. Knight suit, Mark's like, what is this? What are we wearing?
Exactly. He didn't know. It wasn't familiar to him.
He even had the Daredevil batons.
Oh, yeah.
The little whatever you want to call him.
And Steven, I said this last week, I love Steven's personality. Steven is hilarious, like without trying to be.
Yeah. He's just like a normal dork.
Yeah.
And then, I personally was not expecting that. I thought for sure when he landed, it was just going to be like normal Moon Knight suit. But I was like, oh, okay. Steven turned into Mr. Knight. So just because Mark is not the main personality doesn't necessarily mean he can't do Moon Knight Khonshu powered things. Yeah. Because he stayed Steven. Like, if it only worked for Mark, he would have fallen flat and smushed.
Yeah.
So, I love when he punched the Jackal in the suit. He like gets all excited, and then you just see like the like random civilians are just like, what is he doing?
And it's so messed up because no one else can see the Jackal. And so like when they look at the museum footage, he looks crazy. And when he's in the street fighting it looks crazy, but you can still physically interact with the Jackal. Like the Jackal can still kill you
100%.
Even though you can't see it.
Yeah.
Just because like his what's her name? Layla?
Is that her name?
She couldn't see the Jackal, but she could fight it, you know?
Oh yes, Andy. Andy said the line. Nah, he's just a fancy drunk.
Yeah, May Callumway. I'm not sure how to pronounce her name, but I've never seen this actress before. And she was good.
So
I liked her. Yeah, I've never seen her before.
Yeah. So, I mean, along those lines, we now know that people, as an ambulance drives by, people can't see the Jackal creatures. That it's, and then I was going to say Hargraves. What's his name? I'm having brain fart.
Who?
Ethan Hawke's character.
Arthur Harrow.
Harrow. Thank you.
Yeah.
My brain was just gone right there. Haro has a teeny bit of Amit's power in the cane.
Yes.
And those are for sure coming from him. They're not just little things that appear or whatever. Because that's what I was thinking. I was wondering where that Jackal came from, like from the first one.
Oh yeah, he just like summoned it or something.
Yeah, I didn't put 2 and 2 together that he was the one that was pulling them out of mystical hell. Like I'm not really sure. But yeah, I'm very curious because, like you said, people can't see them. So
and this is something huge that we learned.
Yeah, and that's where I was going to go too.
Arthur Harrow was the former avatar of Khonshu, which is
so
crazy.
That I was not expecting that in the slightest.
They're getting right into it.
Yeah,
they only have 6 episodes, so they better.
Yeah, was not expecting that in the slightest. Like, he knew every single line that Khonshu was saying. Like, is he saying
He was like, what is he saying? Is he telling you to kill me right now? And then he says, what is he saying? What was the line he said? I'm vengeance or no, justice. I'm real justice.
Yeah, something like that. I'm obsessed with Khonshu. I love
Khonshu grew on me in this episode.
Jacob, how he's talking and stuff is ripped from the comic.
Really?
Yes. Okay. How he's like, kill him, punch him, like break his windpipe.
Yeah.
All that is exactly how he is. It's like, he's so like, just, I don't want to deal with it. Just kill him.
Yeah. And it's only for bad people though. And that's what I took from this episode.
Yeah. I honestly, like, I can't believe how, like, dead on Khonshu has been to the comics.
How about the look? Is the look dead on?
Yeah, he's absolutely.
Is there like a empty space in between
his head flows,
his head and his neck? Okay, I thought his
head flows, crazy. And the bone still has hair.
Yeah. Okay, so the look weird. Is accurate.
Oh, the look is dead on, and
that's cool.
How he acts is just absolutely dead on. Just kill him. Just like move on.
There's a few lines that he says that had me cracking up that were just hilarious. Oh, God. And the delivery of the lines too.
I don't know anything about the actor that's doing him, his voice, but I'm obsessed with it right now. At first I thought it wasn't, I was a little bit kind of like, it's not like glass, like dark and
well, in the first episode we didn't get enough of it. It sounded kind of generic, but this episode we got more personality, I thought.
Yeah, I agree. I think I like it more the second episode because I was expecting yes, thank you, Gordon F. Murray Abraham. Yes. I was thinking like I was expecting him voice to be like more of a demon like type, like something like that. But I like it. I love the way how he is just like kill him. Like that is dead on to how Khonshu is. Just I don't want to deal with it. Kill him and let's move on. And he hates stupidity like Steven and just calls him a fool every single time. Khonshu is just like, I need a Funko of that or a statue or something. Like,
I'm sure they'll make like a big pop figure, like the bigger ones.
Oh God, if they do. I've already got the Moon Knight one on pre-order. But yeah, obsessed with Khonshu so far. And you like him too?
Yeah, because we didn't really get much in the first episode, so I didn't think he was bad or good. But as a fan who had no experience with Khonshu ever, I really liked him in this episode, and I'm looking forward to those interactions. It's so weird. We've seen a bunch of stuff where like either the person has a split personality and they're talking to one of their other personalities. We've seen that. We've seen like with Eddie Brock and Venom where they're talking to some other being that's inside of them. but we've never seen where it's like it's another personality and this other being. So there's like 3 different conversations. Like there's 3 different entities having conversations with each other back and forth.
It's
awesome. Just crazy to me. And I don't know what it is about Steven. Like he's such a soft sweetheart. I don't know how else to explain it.
Yeah, there's no violence. He's an empath.
And you can just see like when he picks up the gun, he's like, oh my goodness. And he just like sets it down. And there's a few moments where I just cracked up laughing because of the way he is. One of them is when like the agents come to his door and they're knocking and they're like, Steven? And he's like, I think so. He's like, yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah. 100%. I'm Steven. And I'm like, what? Like, what? You said, I think so?
Yeah. He's just a dork.
Yeah. And then when Haro's like, do you know what this is? And he's like, yeah, it's a cane. Yeah. And I'm like, those little things are so hilarious to me.
He's just your basic, like, nobody that just is going about.
He's the person you would least expect to be Moon Knight.
100%.
Yeah.
You would never expect it. It makes me laugh just even more when like Khonshu's like, get out of here, you fool. Like, like he
hates Steven.
He hates Steven. He's bagging on him.
And I think so. We kind of know what's going on now. We kind of know the plot of the story better than we ever did, right? So we know that the scarab is like a compass that leads to Amit, right? And Haro is trying to get to Amit to resurrect her. And I'm guessing Moon Knight and Layla, or Mark and Layla, are trying to destroy her. I don't know what their goal is.
I would assume
trying to stop him from finding her.
I would assume just trying to stop him from releasing her.
Yeah.
Very much a la like an old mummy movie. Like, you want to release the ghost, whatever. I mean, it's funny though, because I'm not gonna lie, like I was thinking to myself, they should have just buried the scarab in the desert. How is anyone going to find it if they just bury it in the sand?
I know, right? It's not like it has a GPS on it or something, but there'll be something where can you detect magic energy? Like
I'm sure. It was just funny to me because I was thinking like, how are they going to keep this away from him? And I was like, they should have just buried it in the sand somewhere,
or just throw it in the ocean or something. Like, because he obviously doesn't know where it is. She was right there. Layla was right there in the room.
Yeah.
And he didn't know that the scarab was present.
Yeah. So, it's not like it's like a beacon that goes off exactly. Or anything. To that, I mean, I love it because I love that we're getting past and present. It's telling 2 stories because clearly he's been operating, I think I read somewhere for 5 years as Moon Knight. Oh, yes.
Oh, wow. So, I mean, it's been a while.
I believe I read that his passport said 2018. In the Marvel universe, I think we're at 2024, 25. Because I know it has to be probably 25 because when we ended Endgame, it was 23. Which first off means that he survived the blip. So he's been Moon Knight for a while. So I think we're gonna get that story because clearly they're alluding to it, which so far it sounds almost exactly how the comic is, where archaeologists went to the tomb, got killed, almost just massacred. Khonshu said, work for me and I'll save you. So we're getting that story, but then now we're in the present telling this Arthur Harrow story that is going back to Egypt because, I mean, at the end of the episode.
So this is not an origin story. This is like
not
picking
really
up in Moon Knight. He's been Moon Knight for a while.
He has to have been it for a while. I mean, they're probably going to throw. I mean, you have to at least kind of.
Well, you know what's weird? We're getting the Steven origin story. Steven didn't know he was Moon Knight.
That is a very good point. You're getting
Yeah.
Steven's origin story, not Mark's. I think
Mhm.
they'll slowly start putting more and more Mark stuff in there, because you can't just like be like,
well, didn't it leave off with Mark taking over and he's in control right now?
yes.
And where'd
Khonshu
they go?
literally
They
says,
went to
"Where the hell?"
Egypt.
Yeah, where the hell do you think we're going?
I
And then,
love how Khonshu has like a modern vocabulary.
oh yeah, he's just a normal douche. He's not
Well, I'm
some.
sure hundreds of thousands of years ago he talked very different, but as humanity evolved, he just talks like however humans talk.
Yeah, no, it's hilarious. Yeah, so I'm very curious to see how we go about that, because I would have to imagine that they're going to at least flashback show Mark becoming Khonshu, or Mark being saved by Khonshu
Yeah.
and becoming Moon Knight. I would be super disappointed, because his origin story kind of like projects how his whole story goes forward.
I wouldn't be surprised if one of the episodes starts with that, you know,
I
and
would
it says
so.
like 2018 and then or 2017, and then we get to see it. And it
Yeah,
looks like Layla's been with him for a while too, like
yeah,
whether
they're
just his
married.
partner,
That
well,
was
they're married, yeah. And I was looking at May, I'm just gonna call her May Kalamui. She's an Egyptian actress, so that's pretty cool. She's
oh,
Egyptian Palestinian, so that's really cool. And what do we learn about her character? Khonshu has his eyes on her next.
yeah.
Which
That
why does he have to leave Mark though? Like, is what I'm
Khonshu just
wondering.
doesn't give a crap. Like, he's
Yeah,
just like, whoever's going to serve me the best, I'm going to take.
yeah,
Which I'm starting to wonder if he just dumped Arthur Harrow, and instead of just like, I'm done with you, like, I'm starting to think maybe he just dumped him, and Arthur Harrow's a little bit salty.
yeah. Like, it wasn't like a mutual parting. Like, Harrow didn't want him to leave.
Yeah,
It seems like, and it also seems like Harrow had never met Mark or Steven until that first time they meet in the first episode.
Yeah, I mean, it seems very much that whatever happened with Harrow, and he moved on, and Khonshu looked for another person. Mark happened to be dying on his tomb steps, and bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting, because Khonshu says, like, you told me you could have him under control. So he knew about Steven, I would assume.
Yeah,
before.
and if you think about it, so Harrow says to him, "Do you think Khonshu chose you because you'd be easy to take over, or be easy to break you, or you're already broken,
Yeah.
or something?" And then, so when Khonshu was like, planning to take over Mark's body, he probably could see, oh, you have an issue here. Like, you have multiple, what is the official term? Dissociative
Identity disorder.
Yes. So
A lot of
Khonshu must have sensed that and been like, "Hey, is this going to be a problem?" And Mark's like, "No, I promise he won't. He won't interfere." And that's what it seems like, because Khonshu mentioned several times, like, you said he wasn't going to be a problem. Like, you're violating the terms of our agreement and all this stuff. It's like they had a written contract or something.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's like a contract in blood. Like, he literally saved him from dying. I want to bring up Wingboy's comment. He says, I don't remember where I heard, but the showrunner was interviewed and said they purposely removed most of the ties to the MCU so that the timeline would be ambiguous and could fit. Anyway, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, there has been no hint of it until tonight when they showed his passport, and it was 2018.
But that doesn't really tell us what year it is. We just know he got that in 2018, right? Or
yeah, I mean, we know at the end of Endgame it was 2023. So 5 years before the events of Endgame, he had that Mark Spector passport.
They're being weird about showing what year it is in the MCU. Have you noticed they avoid doing that when at the end of, all right, spoiler for Spider-Man No Way Home, but at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, when Peter goes to Aunt May's grave, the flowers are covering the death year, because they're like, don't say what year it is, because we don't want people to like say, hey, this doesn't make sense. Like
they're
what?
Timeline Nazis. If it flows, it flows. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny because I remember when Endgame ended and I was like, it's 2023. I thought we were lining up with how we are in normal time. Whatever. Who cares? As long as the story's good, I don't really care. Oh, Andy, I did not catch that. He said, however, we see on the bus the GRC banner, which we saw in Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Eternals.
Yeah, I think it's all like relatively around the same time. It's not like this is in 2003. Like, it's all in between 2018 and 2023 or whatever. It's all
I would say anything that is we have seen so far is at some point between 2023 and 2025.
Well, up until Endgame, the timeline was simple. Like
timeline was our timeline.
You had the prequels like Captain Marvel and Captain America: The First Avenger that are set in different times, right? But up until Endgame, it was lined up with what year it was in real life. Now it's not. So now they're just being vague about what year it is and stuff.
That's fine.
Which is fine. Who cares, honestly?
Exactly. Just enjoy the show. I'm trying to think what else. To what you were saying. Yeah, Khonshu's ready to snatch her up, and he does not want. Mark is like, absolutely not. We're preventing that.
Because it's as cool as it would be to be able to turn into a superhero whenever you want, like it's a curse. It seems like.
Yeah, no, it's more of a burden than a blessing. It's not
exactly.
You're not like out there just doing good for the sake of humanity. You're serving Khonshu. Like it's not, and that's how it is in the comics too. It's not a blessing to be Moon Knight. It's more of a servitude type thing.
So basically, Mark knows, look, I made this deal with Khonshu, so if he says beat up this criminal, I have to do it, basically.
Essentially.
But Steven doesn't know any of that, obviously.
Steven knows nothing. But yeah, trying to think what other there was other big stuff. Can you while I'm thinking, you have anything?
Yeah, they're going to Egypt. So like what does that mean?
Yeah. Well, okay. So here, back to a little bit of
and Harrow has the scarab.
Harrow has the scarab, so they're definitely going back. I think we could maybe see some like that, like they go to a site and maybe he has a flashback that starts to kind of
that
like
makes sense. Well, Amit is there, right? I mean,
I don't know where.
I'm assuming so.
I mean,
yeah.
Is she somewhere? I would assume in Egypt. So yeah, I mean, I'm thinking we could get some flashbacks. As far as like we're set in the present, doing present things, but like maybe you see a statue that like gives us a flashback to how Mark became Moon Knight under Khonshu. Because like I said, that story is too essential to his character if we're going by comics to pass over. I mean, it seems that Layla is Marlene, his love interest in the comics. She was an archaeologist. Her father was an archaeologist, was murdered by Bushman, who is Moon Knight's biggest villain.
Yeah. Didn't you say we could be seeing Bushman or no?
I mean, there wasn't like a straight up like this guy is cast as Bushman, but people have it posted on like IMDb that he's in it and stuff like that.
Midnight Man is coming. Do you know? Are you familiar with that character at all?
Is it Midnight?
So this is the actor who passed away, Gaspard Ulliel.
Is he playing?
He's playing Midnight Man. Midnight Man. Yeah. which maybe that's an adaptation of that character. I'm not sure. But
I'm
he's
trying to think.
Anton Mogart. Anton Mogart, Midnight Man.
Maybe I was thinking of, well, because there's
So
one of
I'm
them.
curious to see, like, he hasn't popped up yet.
No,
Which
I'm
is
trying to think
interesting.
because one of them in the comics like ends up being it's been so long, ends up being a relative.
Yeah, so Midnight Man looks like he has like a dark suit, like a black suit.
That's basically almost
Moon
like
Knight, but a black
Moon Knight
suit.
black suit with
Wow.
the pizzazz of like a Black Panther look to it. Okay, so I was thinking of Shadow Knight. Yeah, Midnight Man is a whole different thing. Shadow Knight is,
Well, like we said, they've done several different runs of Moon Knight, and they're all different from what I hear. So
yeah. Oh god, there's so many. Yeah, that's gonna be so sad knowing that this character.
I know. Like, what if we? I mean, it's tragic that he passed away, no matter what. But I'm just saying, what if he's like, oh my goodness, this is my favorite Marvel villain since Thanos? Like, what it could be, you know?
He could be just this incredible thing, and we'll never know.
Yeah. So let me ask you before we head out, like, based on this episode, where do you think this is all going? Like, what do you think the end game is going to be for this season?
Just stopping Harrow.
Yeah.
I don't think that this is going to end up being this like essential MCU future gonna mess with the multiverse type thing. I think it's just gonna literally be like almost its own story.
Yeah, I think so too.
That fits into a timeline of MCU.
Well, for all we know, this could have, I mean, no, because people would actually know. I was going to say, we don't get any hints, whether it's pre-blip, post-blip, during the blip, whatever, you know, like the other characters, like the people in the city and stuff, nobody's talking. It doesn't look like it's happening during the blip, you know?
No.
So it's either after or before.
I mean, it has to be after Endgame because
I'm assuming after. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well,
yeah.
Mostly because of the GRC banner. Like,
yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I think it's going to be contained within this story. I think there's a possibility that Harrow does resurrect Amit and becomes her avatar, and that they throw down.
Probably.
That's what I think is going down, which I'm down to see.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I don't think this is going to be like one of those things that, I mean, changes the multiverse or something like that. Because, I mean, Oscar Isaac got Disney to give him just a single season contract. Like, if he didn't like it, dude can just leave, which terrifies me and is also kind of like,
you know what, that also, because I was wondering this, what if he dies and Khonshu does take over her body and she's Moon Knight going forward? I don't think that, like, I never would have thought that before until they introduced that storyline. But I agree with you. I think Oscar Isaac is gonna be Moon Knight, but you never know.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they put her in a suit for like a hot second. I don't know.
Or maybe another god, Egyptian god, takes her over.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, they could go anywhere with this stuff. Yeah. Star Drew, you saying I would like to see Ghost Rider or Blade. I mean, if it's going to connect anywhere, it's going to connect to Blade because of the supernatural type stuff. I don't, like I said, he signed a one season contract. He's not obligated to do anything outside of this. So like, I don't see Blade showing up and being like, come with me, I need your help.
Yeah, not this season. No, definitely not this season. Like, I just want to get to know Moon Knight this time around. You know what I mean?
Like, I honestly, give me, at the end of it, give me just a supernatural hint. Like, that would be fine. I'd be totally fine with that. Like, not even hinting like stuff to come with Moon Knight, just like maybe like vampires are here, or I mean, we know Werewolf by Night is coming for Halloween. Just like some supernatural like, hey, this world is being built. Get ready.
They're already. I mean, they're doing their own, Egyptian supernatural stuff. So it's already here. So,
yeah.
So we get what is the big dog called? The Egyptian something. He names it in this, and when they're watching the video footage. But those creatures, those are supernatural creatures. So we're already getting them, and we're Moon Knight's kind of like a mummy in a way.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I remember reading the director saying like they wanted to use the the style of the nanotech, but wanted you to not think that it was, oh look, it's nanotech again. Like it's supposed to be a mummy being wrapped,
like taking over his body. Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. Oh, the jackals. I think that's
those things. I thought you were talking about like a like some like giant.
Oh no. Thing. Did you? Okay, so I asked you guys about this before. So when Moon Knight is the traditional Moon Knight armor, it's CGI. Like it's a CGI character, and I get it because
I think when he's walking around and not doing crap, it's the real one.
Practical. Yeah,
because they had a suit on display at the premiere that said worn by Oscar Isaac in Moon Knight.
That makes sense. Yeah, I just kind of wish it was, like Batman, he always looks practical.
Yeah.
Like I kind of wish it was more like that, but Midnight Man was practical. It looked like he didn't look CGI at all. But anyways, did you like the fight that we got? Like when he turned into Moon Knight and he was chasing around the Jackal, and then
give me any of that.
Jumps off the building and throws it. So we saw when his moon thing came down, his moon dagger, it was inside of the Jackal and it fell off and he grabbed it. That was cool.
Him getting I'm just gonna kill it by spearing it.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
He stabbed it with his little spike and then threw it on the spear thing.
Although I don't know if it was just me. It almost looked like he has infinite number of those things to pull out.
Maybe
he pulled it out and then pulled out another one, and there was still
I wouldn't be surprised because it's all supernatural powers. And where did those sticks come from, and where did they go? It's the same thing. I think those are his version of weapons. Yeah,
just infinite batarang Moon Knight.
Yeah, stuff. But no, I overall I really enjoyed the episode. I'm still in, and like I said, I think by the time it's all said and done, I'm gonna love it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I couldn't agree more with you. But I think that's gonna do it for us. Do you have anything else that you?
No, I think that's it, man. I'm excited for next week.
I think that's all. I think we hit everything. But yeah, thank you everyone for popping in for this week's Marvel Rewind episode 2 of Moon Knight. Check us out next week. Next week, we will be doing round 3, episode 3 of Moon Knight. Who knows what's to come next? But yeah. For Jacob, for me, Brian, and Apocalypse Movies, thank you for joining us as always. If you're seeing this Wednesday, check out tomorrow when the next Halo episode, Halo Rewind
episode reviews. It doesn't have a it doesn't have a show name.
We need a catchy name.
Halo episode reviews. There you go.
So, but yeah, thank you for joining us. We'll see you guys next time. Have a great evening.